So in case you missed class, you can see all the fun we had. It's gonna be good. I guarantee I'll eat it at some point today. So anyway, today's point is kind of twofold. Number one, I want to go through the syllabus with you, make sure you guys understand what's going on. Even if you had me last term, it's probably 85% the same, but I changed about 15%. It's because of my eval comments, which I thank you guys so much for doing. That was awesome. Changed quite a little bit. If you had never had me before, it's all new to you anyway. And I figure we'll take about 45 minutes to an hour to blow through that and make sure you understand everything that's done in here. And then I've got a bit of activity for us to do together to kind of get your minds thinking statistically, because it is a new way of thinking. It's the mathematics of the news versus the mathematics of how to build a deck, if that makes sense. I don't know if that makes sense to you. Like, you know, when you build a house, or if you build a room, or if you build something, you use a lot of calculus-based or trigonometric-based mathematics. Very important stuff. I love it. I mean, I use it all the time. But if you're going to watch the news and try to interpret what is on the news, that doesn't help you all that much. Unless we're talking about trig, in which case it does help you. But most of the time it's not. It says, you read the news something like, Congress is now less popular than syphilis. And you have to understand what that claim means. And what they mean is that they did a random sample and a smaller percentage of people expressed positive belief in Congress than are infected with syphilis currently. And you have to know whether or not to believe that claim. Yeah, it's a humorous claim, you got my attention, I'm like, that's awesome. But I also don't believe it, because what they said was 9% of people approve of Congress, and the syphilis infection rate is 10% or something like that. And they said, well, 9 is less than 10. And I said, not really. And all of you are sitting there going, yes, it is. 9 is less than 10. Yes, mathematically, not statistically necessarily. And how can that be? How can it possibly that 9 might not be less than 10 statistically? Does that make any sense to anybody in this room? A couple of you might nod yes. A couple of you might nod yes and say, yes, of course that makes sense. But for most of you, you're like, no, 9 is less than 10, Sean, and x equals 2, and check. But that's what statistics teaches you to think around. It teaches you to ask questions like, how could it be that 9 might not be less than 10? Is it really 9? That's what you have to ask yourself when you read the news. 18% of people suffered headaches after drinking more than 6 cups of coffee a day. Was it really 18? I made that up on the spot, just so you know. Was it really 18%? Where was the 18%? Where did the 18% exist? You're going to learn how to ask questions in this class quite a bit. One of the most common eval comments I get in my class evaluations are, I can't watch the news or listen to the news the same way anymore. Because you've taught me never to stop asking questions. Yes, it's phenomenal. It's the best part of the course, is learning which questions to ask, which stones to uncover. Statistics shouldn't be solely to prove things. It should be to uncover things as well. Sometimes you're left with more questions than you started with, and that's okay. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that at all. So anyway, today we'll get starting to think about that. Hopefully I didn't scare you off with that 5-minute introduction there. Here's the website where everything lives. It's cocc.edu and then a /s rule. My name's Sean. Last name's Rule. Let me try moving lights around a little bit. This might work now that. Is that okay? Is it not too dark? It seems better with the white light plus those.
Yeah, it's a lot better.
Better? Good. Excellent. Excellent. So all my contact information's up top. We're in Grandview, up the hill a bit. If you need to find me. Phone number, emails on there, fax numbers on there if you need that. Down below is all my courses I'm doing this term. Scroll down a little bit. Here's the office hours down here. They're kind of lame on Tuesdays and Thursdays. I apologize for that. The reason is Tuesday and Thursday are packed. I'm in class from 8 until 2 Tuesdays and Thursdays, and then Tuesday I basically have to leave campus at 2:30 to get my son to swimming lessons. So the best I can do is putting a little bit of time on Thursdays and overload Monday and Wednesday. This isn't the hugest deal. I didn't get a whole lot of traffic last term, or actually most terms. I don't get a whole lot of traffic in the office. I don't know if that's because of my office hours and when they are, or just because people don't need to actually physically meet that much anymore. It seems like we can get a lot done via email, which is fantastic. Speaking of which, if anybody sent me email over the past 24 hours, I just sent you guys all a mass email out letting you know that I got them. I just haven't been able to sit down and find 10 minutes to respond to them. I'll do it tonight. So if anybody sent me email over the past 24, I'll get back to you tonight.
Was that the first email that you sent out?
It should have been, yeah. Okay. I sent a big mass one out to everybody, so you should have a spam from me in your inbox. So anyway, here's what I'm doing this term. You guys, I guess, are here. This is you, 11854. There should be a grid too with this. I don't know what happened to it. I lost it between fall and winter. Here we are, there we are, when we are, and so forth and so on. So pretty boring. We're not going to spend a lot of time here, obviously. What I want to spend time on is this link right here. That course information link. That's the big one. That's the one you want to kind of familiarize yourself with today. For a couple reasons. The biggest of which is that this is where everything for the class essentially is. Almost all of the course is going to exist off of this page. It's almost 100% online in that respect. We'll do some stuff in class where I'll bring papers for us to do and work on in class, called them in-class quizzes back in 105. We'll do more of those now as well, but all the quizzes, projects, and exams are all going to be linked into this page. So I want to make sure you guys know where everything is and how to find it in that respect. How many of you, your eyes were drawn to that big yellow rectangle off to the side as soon as I went to this page? Yes. That means McDonald's and Burger King are doing it correctly. You ever notice all their signs are red and yellow? Gets your attention like a magnet. Green and blue, soothing. Red and yellow, agitating. Makes you want to look at them. They changed my voicemail light on my phone. It used to be this very dark color. Never knew I had voicemail. Now it's bright red in the middle of the phone, and I'm ADD. So any kind of stimulus like that, I walk in the office, I'm like, oh, right to it. Can't miss it now. Reds, yellows, beautiful. I tend to overdo it a little bit. When you see the schedule page, you'll see what I'm talking about. So of these links, honestly, and my 105s that had me last term, feel free to chime in if you want to add something to, what you found helpful with these links and what you didn't find helpful. Like, I'll say my piece, but if you guys want to kick in too and just say, you might want to think about, feel free. This is the most important link over here. I put it at the top. It's a schedule page. It's where everything is. Like, everything for the course is here. So if you click on that, it's a lot of yellow and red. I apologize off the bat. So. And it looks like a ton. Well, it is a ton, but you don't have to look at everything on it. This is my entire class. So you got Math 105, 243, and 244. I do that intentionally. I do that in case students want to flip-flop around. A lot of 244s ask me, can I get the 243 stuff? Yeah, just go back and grab it. It's right there. And sometimes 243s want to go back and look at 105. Well, there it is. It's still there. I don't use Blackboard. So this is Sean's Blackboard, if you will. And I don't use Blackboard for the simple reason that I don't like locking stuff behind passwords. I like having this stuff out for the world to find. I recently, 3 weeks ago, got an email from a student somewhere, I forget where, actually it wasn't an email, it was a YouTube comment on one of the YouTube videos. She said, my teacher sends us here to learn stuff. Okay, that's awesome. But with Blackboard, that wouldn't happen. Like, she wouldn't be able to find that. I got a comment, I think I told you guys in 105, from the French comment I got. Did I tell you about that? Yeah, this wonderful comment in French from a guy in France that somehow stumbled upon my scatterplot video and found it useful. Like, that's the kind of stuff. 2 days ago, you, good sir, earned me a 90% on my statistics final. Thank you, good sir. Yeah, that's wonderful. I love hearing that kind of stuff. It's great. But you won't get that kind of educational socialism unless you leave stuff out like this. So there it is, left out for the world to find, and you guys to find. So let's scroll down into week 1 here so you can see what's going on. It again looks like quite a bit's going on, but you only have to look at about 25% of this. All you've got to look at is your class's column. This is all 4 classes, 105, 243, 243, and 244. And you guys are my early 243. So this is your column right here. That's what you guys you'll be doing. Everything else you can ignore because it doesn't apply to you guys. The week, the yellow is the divider for the week. Red underneath of that just is administrative stuff. I like to let you guys know about that. I think it's the kind of stuff the college also emails you. You guys get a bunch of email from COCC about like drop deadlines and stuff like that. Yeah, I try to echo that in here. Just I figure the more it gets said, the more you might remember to hear it. So I try to put that stuff here. But then here's the week. So there's yesterday. Hopefully you guys had a nice Monday. Here's today. That's what we'll be doing today in class. Wednesday we're off. Notice on Thursday there's a quiz due. We'll talk more about that in about 25, 30 minutes. And if you go to next week, it might confuse you a little bit because Tuesday's blank. Thursday there's a quiz due, but nothing's linked yet. And if you keep going, there's other stuff. Next Tuesday's blank. The Thursday after that has something due. And then there's like every Tuesday is blank. What does that mean? Stay home on Tuesdays. What does that mean? No, it doesn't mean stay home on Tuesdays. Show up on Tuesdays.
It means you plan to post homework assignments out there.
Nick is used to this chaos. Thank you, sir. Right, exactly. Here's the deal. What is Math 243? I'll show you right now. This is the Math 243 homework sheet. This is the Math 243 homework sheet. Click it twice, I guess. That's it. Those are the topics in this course. If you were to get like a normal syllabus for a course, they would have these topics. This is what we're going to do. Most normal syllabi would also put dates next to them. Say, well, we're going to do this day, that day, that day. I can't stand the idea of doing that because it forces us to stick to this rigid schedule. And I don't think we're going to get snow this year, but even if we do, if something like that happens, you have to restructure the entire system. I will tell you this, we're going to do all these topics as we go through the course. I don't know exactly when we're going to get to, say, outliers or the binomial distribution. I'm not exactly sure. If I had to guess, I'd say somewhere around week 5 and somewhere around week 8, if I had to guess. I'm guessing. But here's what I do know. Each day we come to class, we do something. We go as far as we go. Sometimes we finish a topic, sometimes we don't. Whatever we do, I post that into the schedule page so that when you go back and look at it within 24 hours, you see what we did that day. Does that make sense? You'll have any pertinent links to it at that point too. That's it. That's why everything's blank right now. By the end of the course, it's all going to be filled in, and you'll know exactly what we did and when we did it. But you won't see me trying to sketch out the entire course right now because it never works. You always have to move stuff around because of things. I like when things take longer than they're supposed to. When you guys ask more questions than I'm expecting, and we go off on these little tangents and grab some other idea and bring it back. I like that. That's good. That's good. So I don't know exactly when we're going to do the normal distribution. It'll be towards the end of class, obviously. But I don't exactly know when. I'm guessing week 9. Make sense? So all those will be slotted into this schedule at some point. I know, for example, on Thursday we're going to start what I call the Intro to Prob and Stat, which is kind of a custom lesson I've put together. We'll probably get that done on Thursday, most likely, if history is any guide. But if we don't, we'll carry it over to Tuesday, and then we'll move on from there. Cool? Kind of a continuum that way, rather than just a set of discrete stop, start, stop, start. It's just kind of this big flow of things that run together, which is the way it should be anyway. It's kind of the way math is discovered. So, does this make sense? Any questions you guys have right now for me? Anything jump out as this is really weird? Linda, go.
Is homework going to be where it's turned in, or is that?
Hold that thought, give me like 10, 15, because like that's the major change was made in the assessment. And I want to get to that. Thank you. We'll get to that, I promise. Yeah. Cool? Any other questions or comments, concerns? Excellent. So, notice there's a bunch of red cells in here, yeah? What do you think the red cells mean?
Important.
Important because of what? Every day's important here. Something's due. Something's always going to be due on the red days. So it is more uber important, if you will. We'll come back to what is due, but that's important. It's important to know what those red days mean. You're turning something in that day. You're bringing something to class with you to turn in to me those days. Okay, I have it because I don't use Blackboard, and this is the one downside of not using Blackboard. I don't have electronic submissions yet. I haven't quite worked them out, and the reason is quite a bit. How many of you guys came out of like the Hawk system or the, what's the one 111 uses?
WebAssign.
WebAssign, yeah, WebAssign system. Yeah, I mean, I don't want to get your opinions on whether you liked it or not, but this can't work that way because in WebAssign, things like that, you're like solving equations or whatever. You're figuring out where the rock hits the ground, you throw off the cliff, and you know, there's like a right answer for those. For a lot of these, there are going to be multiple correct answers. Like I'll ask you, here are 2 data sets. Which one shows greater variation around the mean and why? You can't put x equals 3 for an answer for that. Your answer is going to be a series of sentences that you've written out and reasoned through. So you can't WebAssign submit that yet because it doesn't take dialog box answers. So I haven't quite worked out. I have to build my own system essentially. I haven't done it yet. So you guys will still be submitting stuff kind of old school. I'll have you email stuff when I can. I just haven't gotten around to it yet. So you'll still be bringing stuff to class on these days that things are due. We'll talk more about that momentarily when we get into assessment, but I just want to let you know. I try to push forward, but in pushing forward, sometimes I have to revert back to old school. You can type if you want to. I didn't make it a mandatory thing to type submissions up. You can if you want to, though. Because there's so little math symbolism or symbolic notation in this course, you can get away with typing instead of writing if you're more comfortable typing. It seems like students are. I seem to get more open-ended comments on my class evaluations now that they're online. almost like it's easier for you guys to type than it is for you to write, just because of the generation that we're now in. We've spent so much time typing and not so much time writing anymore. So I don't know, it's a theory, might be wrong. Let's come off the schedule page for a sec, just for a second. I want to go back through the rest of these links. I do want to get to Linda's question about homework. We'll get to that. Materials, this is probably a one-time and one-time only visit to the page because you won't need it more than this, I don't think. The prereq, it looks like all you guys have it already. The textbook is a freebie open source, so you don't have to buy anything for the course. I think I emailed a couple of you guys back about that already. That's the link to it. If you pop this thing open, it's a huge file. It's large. It's 700 pages, I think. Or, yeah, 710 pages. Ilowski and Dean down in California, some ladies that have put this book together. So it's kind of like your book from 105-ish. Although this is a larger, less fancy version of. There's no color, for example, in this one. Larson loved his color and his wonderful graphics and things like that. There's pretty bare bones on this one. But that's okay. I don't think you should have to pay $250 for a magazine. So here's your textbook. It's all free. I've augmented this quite a bit with videos and with my own problems. So you'll see a lot of that mixed in when we get to the homework page. We'll take a look at that momentarily. But yeah, here it is. I'll be referencing page numbers on it. The only downside is when you want to go to a page number, like I just clicked on this and it popped open in Firefox, your page numbers are going to be off by 10. So right now it says page 1. It's really not page 1, that's the title page. So you'd have to actually put in page 11, I believe, and 11, I think, takes you to page 1. Yeah, so there's a 10-page shift. There's X minus 10 from 111, is that what you have to do? Something like that, I don't know. Just add 10, put that in, and then that takes you right into the Cool, there's your textbook. Merry Christmas. If you want to buy a physical copy, by all means you can. Right here, it's pretty affordable, I remember correctly. I think it's like 20 bucks or something. Yeah, $17.96 and like pretty cheap shipping. Hey, 5-star rating, yay. So if you want to have actual physical copy of the book, we'll use it for both 243 and 244. Donna is also using this, so whoever you take for 244, if you're taking it, you can grab the same book that way. I find I grow more and more impatient and tired of the textbook industry making you guys pay hundreds of dollars for a book and then offering you 10% of that back when you go to return it.
Yeah.
So this is where a few of us have been getting together and collaborating and putting these things together where we create shared documents, kind of like Wikipedia, except it's a little more rigorous in who can edit it. So these are only stat educators editing this, me, Barbara, Susan. And also I'm creating YouTube videos to go along with some of the problems and also augmenting some of the lessons. So it's a work in progress, but it's also better, I think, at the end of the day because you don't have to pay anything for it. Yeah. And it's a little more rich, a little more current. So anyway, enjoy. I hope you do. I'll take any comments on it too as the course goes on. I'd love to make it even better. So anyway, that's the book. As far as technology goes, I would love to teach this course in a computer classroom, but we just can't do that. There's not enough computer classrooms. So we're going to split the technology 2 ways. When we're together, I bring a TI-84 with me, which is essentially the same as a TI-83, just the same machine essentially. If you have that, that's great. If you don't, I think you can emulate it on a smartphone if you want to do that. That's totally fine. Like if you have like an Apple or an Android smartphone. I put a link to the Android one here. I haven't found the Apple one yet. And it's changing constantly. I mean, the App Store is constantly changing. I know this Android one changed because of legal reasons. So I've given up trying to keep up with that. But by all means, you can download a statistical formula evaluator from the App Store for probably less than $1, if not free. I'd be more than happy to help you look through it if you want to stick by after class or at the break. We can probably look through your phone and see what we can find. But if you have a TI-83 left over from 111 or 105, that'll work just great, or 84. I mean, it's nice. I mean, they're a bit dated. They have like 1982 technology as far as like Pac-Man visuals, but they do everything we needed to do pretty well. Out of class, I'm going to have you guys using Excel an awful lot. I've also written programs for the TI, which come in handy. But we'll use Excel quite a bit in here. I shouldn't say quite a bit. How would you guys put the amount of Excel you used in 105? What would you say? Like, would you say it was a little bit, a medium amount? Well, I wouldn't say it was a lot.
Probably. A
little bit, yeah?
Yeah.
We'll do about double it in here. I tend to like it a lot more in 240. It's a lot more applicable. So basically, anytime you guys have an out-of-class assessment to do, besides quizzes, I'll most likely have you use an Excel. I'm seeing some panic looks. Don't worry. I've assumed you've never turned it on before. I swear to God. Now, let me see a show of hands. Who has turned it on before and used Excel? Yes, exactly, most of you. But, because there is no prereq for CIS 120 or 131 in this course, I'm assuming you never have. So that's why I build the videos to go with it. That's why I take screenshots when you're doing stuff. So, and you can always email me back and forth if you get stuck. But I want you using Excel. I feel remiss kicking you guys out into the world without using Excel to do some statistics. It seems, I don't know, it's like driving without using tires. I mean, you can do it. Fred Flintstone did it, but it just doesn't seem right. Let's see what else. I guess that's it. Excel. Oh, and the other reason Excel is great, it's ubiquitous because everybody seems to use it in the world, but also you guys all have access to it as students here. When you log in, you can pull up Excel on your computer documents. I understand that a lot of you like working from home. I totally get that. That might create an issue. I will tell you this right now. Certain things in Macs don't work well in Excel. Even if you're running Office for Mac, and I don't know if that's just Microsoft not playing nice with Apple, but certain graphical things in particular don't jive well. So even if you use a Mac, and I feel terrible saying this anybody that uses a Mac, for the stuff that involves like a graphical component, you might just want to come to school and do it here. It probably will take you half the time, if not a third or a fourth of the time to get it done, and you'll have a lot fewer headaches. And I've spent hours working with students to make something work on a Mac. I'm like, yeah, we could have done this in 5 minutes on a PC. And I hate saying that, because Macs are better for almost everything, except for running Excel. So, anyway. Cool? Does this make sense? Yeah, we do it. Any questions you guys have right now? Is it okay? All right. Okay, good. Let's back on out of here. I want to finally answer Linda's question. I promised you an answer. I'm going to give it to you. So you may have noticed there were homework sheets. I'm going to go back out to that real quick. Oh, schedule page actually is where I need to be. Schedule page. So, Matthew 43 homework sheet, all of these are hyperlinked. What I'd like to do eventually, haven't gotten to it yet, is to put the section of the textbook next to it as well, like I did in 105. I'm not sure how helpful that was, but it's easier than having to root through the entire book to get where you need to get. Yeah, I want to get back to that, so it's on my list of things to do. But in these, let's just click on relative position, it comes up there. This is a PDF document that then opens up and has a bunch of homework. Essentially, homework to do. Stuff that's up here in the blocks are from the textbook. So you've got some suggested reading. I suggested. I should put it in quotes. You can read it if you want to. Most students say they can understand what I need them to do based on what we do in class. So you can read it if you need more. And then here are some homework problems, just recommended if you want to do them. The links here, things that are linked are YouTube videos that relate to those problems. Let's just click on like 4D and see what that's all about. Yes, I know. Let's see what this is all about. Volume. Nope, no volume. Well, anyway, there should be volume.
Yeah.
That's unmuted. I promise there's volume.
The little speaker in the right corner.
Wouldn't that have an X through it if it was? Oh no!
And this particular question, it asks us to
Thank you for that. Anyway, so what I did was I took any question that didn't have an answer in the textbook and made a video to go with it. So if in your textbook, anything, let me back out of here for a sec. It's a great look. Any question that doesn't have a link yet has an answer in the book, so you can get an answer and then check it. And anyone that doesn't have an answer, I did a video for. Does that hopefully make sense? The ones down here, these E questions are ones I've made up myself, which means I go out and find stuff in the news and see how it relates to what we're doing in class. Those all have solutions down here at the bottom. So, and I'm slowly adding videos for those as well. So you'll have not just the answer, but also a way to get the answer. So it's a work in progress. This is why it's collaborative statistics, because I'm the one taking the rate on the video section of it, and it just takes time. Like every Friday I come in and record videos. So that's homework. And the way homework works, essentially, is we'll finish a topic. I hate saying that, finish. We don't really finish a topic. We're always talking about these topics. They just build on each other. So, but when we get to like a point when it's like, okay, now if you guys want, go knock out some of these. So that's where the homework comes in. Like once this is relative position, right? Yeah. Once we've talked about what relative position is and why you care about it, why you should care about it, Then I'll say, okay, you can try these now if you want. And it's just a self-contained thing. You can do as much or as little of this as you want. Because I don't collect this from you. I don't collect this homework from you. This is just to help you practice the topics, practice the way of thinking statistically. The stuff I collect is related to this, of course. The quizzes and the exams are related to it. But this itself, I'm not taking from you. The best analogy I can give is when I learned how to play the drums. I would go to a drum lesson, and my drum teacher, Bob Brown, he was awesome. He would just give me a whole bunch of crap to practice at home. And I'd play a little bit with him then, that day, Monday night, whatever it was. Okay, I got it. Then I'd go home for a week and I'd practice. Then I'd go back the next Monday, and he wouldn't sit down and make me do all of it again. He would open up whatever he had given me and go, that, and that, go. And then I would demonstrate that I could do that, and that. And the assumption is, if I can do that, and that, I've got a pretty good handle on the rest of it. And whatever perfection I was lacking, I could pick up with more practice if needed. That's the idea with homework. Your homework is like me going home and practicing for that week. Some people, if they're more naturally gifted at the drums, wouldn't need to practice as much as I did. I practiced like 5 hours a day. It's just what I had to do. So that's why I don't like forcing people to do homework. Do as much or as little as you need. You've got the answers. You can know if you're getting the results. You can follow my videos for those particular problems. As much or as little as you need. So what will I collect? That's the question, right? How do I actually get your grade? Yes, exactly. Great question. So everybody see what homework is? It is practice. I think it's different than WebAssign in that that's what you were actually, or is it not different? Is it about the same? You would have practice and then you would submit stuff, yeah?
Yeah, you always submit it.
But right, so the submission part is what I call quizzes. And this is not as slick as WebAssign because you're not doing it electronically, but at least you're still submitting something. Now, quizzes are going to be analogous to when Bob would point to that, and that, make me play that. That's what you're going to show me you can do. So you're going to submit these quizzes. Now the way I've got it set up, the way it used to be set up as of last year, was quizzes are completely optional. I'm taking that part out. I'm saying you have to do at least 10 over the course of the term. Now, it's funny because when I told this to 244, they were like, oh God, that sucks. And I'm like, dude, you all did at least 10 anyway. And they're like, oh yeah, that's right. So okay. So now I say you have to do at least 10. You can do more. You're going to have way more than 10. I think in 105 there was at least, 15 available. You're going to have probably 20, 25, maybe even 30 by the time the course is over. You don't have to do all of them. You can do all of them if you want to, but you don't have to do. You have to do 10. And they're each 10 points. And what they are is little snapshots. They're a little snapshot. They're like, if you will, take one homework problem out and turn that in. That's what you'll be turning in. Please, Linda, go.
So is it going to be like if you turn something in and it's worth, you made 5 points out of it, that it's going to affect your grade like that thing?
We'll come back to that, but
Okay.
yes. Yes, if you do well on them, and remember how you guys had me at 105, when quizzes were completely optional, students figured out pretty quickly, if I do them and kick butt on them, it pulls my average up. That still is going to apply here. That still is going to apply here. In the beginning, if you do them and tank them, it pulls your average down. In the beginning, because they're only 10 points a pop. That's not moving your average that much by the end of the term when you have like 400 or 450 points. You're not moving your average all that much with 10 or 5 or something like that. In the beginning, it can move it quite a bit, but it's a little bit fictitious in the beginning too. So, Lems outside.
And the odds out of 23 or 25 again.
Exactly. That's why I'm gonna post so many of them. If you look at one, say week 4, and you look at this quiz and going, I don't know what the hell this quiz is even talking about. Don't turn it in. That's the whole point. Turn in 10. I'm not going to post exactly 10, meaning you have to turn every single one in. If you see one you just don't want to do, then just don't do it. Does that make sense? Turn in 10. You can turn in more. I would highly recommend everybody turns in the one on Thursday, and you'll see why momentarily. But turn in the ones that you feel strongly about. You're going to have to submit something from each topic anyway when we get down to exams down here. So for the quizzes, pick and choose the ones that you want to do. Pick and choose the ones you feel comfortable doing. Work on them outside of class. These are not done in class. These are done outside of class. Work with each other, work with study groups, form study groups, work with tutors. When I say work with tutors, don't walk down there with a blank quiz going, I don't get it. Go down there with an attempt. If you got stuck on something, explain to them, I can't get from here to here. I don't know what he means when he says find the expected value of this distribution. They love those kinds of questions. What they don't love is, I can't do this, do it for me. Don't do that with the tutors. They'll just make you go away. Linda, go ahead.
Sorry, I don't mean to ask.
No, ask.
Do you know if they got tutoring, if tutoring has become available in Madras for statistics?
Let's look at the schedule page.
Okay.
I'm gonna guess no. I put the schedule link right here, or the tutoring link in week 1 here. Let's take a look at Madras. Let's see, math and writing, just math right now, and it's only on Tuesdays. Today.
What about Redmond?
Redmond does have, no, Redmond, interestingly enough, has a tech math tutor, but not a stat tutor, as of yesterday anyway.
Okay.
Yeah, no stat tutoring, unfortunately. And this brings up a good point in that, Linda brings up a good point. Math tutors generally don't like helping with stat homework. And math tutors kind of really don't like working with my stat homework because I do it very differently than a traditional stat course. So just heads up about that. I've just recently, as of yesterday, learned that when you have math questions in the tutoring center, there's a red and green can, yes? There's a blue and yellow one for stat questions. I just found out there's different colors. Did you have to use them for 105?
Red and green.
You use red and green for 105. Yeah, that'll change, guaranteed. But it's interesting, they actually have different colored cans for statistics because I think the tutors don't feel comfortable enough yet because it's a different way of thinking. You'll see later on today. It's definitely a different way of thinking. There's math in it, but it's like math the way Portuguese is like Spanish. If you think about it that way, if you guys are familiar with the Portuguese language. It's definitely Spanish, but it's different enough to be its own thing, if that makes sense. So be careful with the tutoring. Try to find a stat tutor. Now, fortunately, there are tons of them, and they have great hours in Bend, unfortunately, just in Bend. But if you're here for class anyway, let's see where they are. Here they are. Statistics Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Sunday. So you got tons of availability. And the stat tutors down there, we've basically hand-trained. They all know. Amber's down there, Jose's down there, Greg's down there, Danielle's down there. They're all freaking awesome. A couple of them recently just asked me to send them all my projects so they could do them all and be prepared for them when you guys came down. So that's the kind of stat tutors we have down there. Just so you know, they're phenomenal people. I'm sure the math tutors are too. I just don't work with them all that much. It's interesting. It says, oh look, I didn't even catch this. They have a Math 243 and a Math 240. Oh my God, look. 243s every day.
Awesome.
Gee, Kelly's been busy. That's fantastic. Yeah, well, so there you go. That's even better. That's even better. That's even better. So, and there is a difference between 244 and 243, much like there's a difference between Portuguese 2 and Portuguese 1. So, just so you know. Cool? All right. Thank you for that question, Lynn. That was great. Let's back out of here again and get back to assessment. How are we doing on time? Let's go a couple more minutes and we'll kick you guys out for a break. So quizzes, do they kind of make sense? I want to add a couple more things to them. I will bring in-class quizzes to class from time to time as well. They count as out of your 10. So doing them together is great because we're working as a class, we're submitting stuff as a class, we're talking together, we're all working together, that's fantastic. If you miss a class where an in-class quiz gets done, that's fine. I can still give you the quiz to do, you just can't submit it for credit. You can still have the quiz to do and practice on. But the whole point of that is that they're done as a class, assessed together. That's one thing I wanted to mention. So and there's going to be a ton of these. I think there's at least 8 of them in this class, if not more. Maybe not more. Probably around 8. So anyway, out of class and in class. So the out of class are the ones you saw on the schedule page. Quiz due, quiz due, quiz due. They'll be hyperlinked from week to week. Starting tomorrow, I'll start hyperlinking next week's because I have to know where we're going to be. So I have to kind of figure out where we're going to be in a week before I put the quiz up for that week. Hopefully that makes sense because I haven't prescribed the class's progression, just like in 105. Same thing happened then. I might move them back. I might post more than 1 quiz a week. Some weeks may even have 2 or 3 quizzes posted. But remember, your job is to do 10 of them. So if I post 3 quizzes in a given week, you don't have to do all 3 of them. You don't do any of them necessarily, right? Just keep track. I do email out a progress report every week letting you guys know what grades I have from you. I'll also put a spot on there that lets you know how many quizzes you've done of the 10. And just, or maybe I'll say you have this many more to do. X or 10 minus X. We'll have to think about that. We'll figure it out. We'll give it a whirl. It's new. This is something new. I haven't ever required quizzes before, so we're gonna work this out and make it the best it can be. I am gonna have a rainy day coupon for them as well. 1 for 1 submission. If you have a bad quiz, you can resubmit 1. We'll come back to that. Now that'll make sense. Quizzes make sense? Please, tell me your name.
Vivica.
Vivica, thank you. Go ahead.
So if we miss an in-class quiz, then can we make it up by doing an out-of-class quiz?
Of course you can. Of course you can. This is what's kind of weird about it. You're going to have way more posted than you have to do. So if you miss an in-class quiz, just let it go. You can always get the document from me later. I usually leave a stack of papers in the room for stuff that you miss. Just grab it, knock it out, make sure it makes sense to you. But then you can do some other out-of-class quiz, exactly. Probably in the same topic, most likely. Yeah, for sure. There'll be plenty of opportunities for that, I promise. Don't be nervous about making the 10 quizzes. There'll be plenty of opportunities for that. Cool? Making sense so far? Excellent, 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 excellent. We turn these bad boys in beginning of class. So you have one due on Thursday. If you choose to do it, you'll make a little pile when you walk in. Just drop them on the pile. And then we'll get them back to you next class, hopefully. Cool? Yep. Quizzes make sense? Okay, let's take 5 now. I like to take a break about 45 minutes in because you start getting this glazed look after a while. And I'd like to fend that off with some oxygen. Let me do a check-in real quick. I can put, as long as we have chairs, which we are all sitting, that means I can get you all in. Yes. So that's fantastic. We even have an extra one over there with an armrest, which is even more fantastic. So let me just check everybody in. Alexis? Wait, Lexi, where are you? I saw her. Jolene?
Here.
Jolene's here. There she is. Good. Jennifer? Burnett? Here. Excellent. Donna? Oh, Donna. Yes, you know she don't drop it. Okay. Carly? Don't drop it. Okay. Quinn? Excellent. Di? I got an email from her just this morning. Don't. There is some funk going around right now, friends. Stay hydrated. Stay hydrated. Rest. Josie? There she is. Patricia?
Patty?
Pat? Oh, sure. There it is. Keep telling me that. Memory of a goldfish. David Haynes?
Here.
There he is. Vivica. I know how to pronounce your name now. I would have murdered that. I apologize. Veronica, I probably will again on Thursday. Veronica! Hi, I'm yelling at you. I apologize. Linda's here. Rylan!
Yeah.
Excellent. When did I meet you before?
Repeat.
Thank you. Yes, yes. The GT is still kicking ass.
Yes.
You guys are the greatest. I wrote it to work today.
Sweet.
Again. Mamie! Or Marty? Marty. That's not an M, that's an R and an N. There we go. David's here. Carly.
Yes.
Hi.
Oh, wow, there's 2 of them.
Oh, Carly Markham.
That's me.
That's you. Okay. Alexandra. That is a cool.
Alexandra what?
Nizinski.
Oh, right here.
Excellent. That is a cool. And Nick. There we go. It's a cool spelling. Jessica O'Grady.
Here.
There she is. Haley.
Here.
Where are you, Haley? That's right. Joe. I didn't see Joe pop his head in. Circle. Let's see if he's let me email. Monica. There she is. Eric.
Here.
Thank you, sir. Cassidy. There she is. Patrick. Pat Shields.
Here.
Excellent. Ariel's here. Stephanie Smith.
Yes.
Yes. David's here. Jessica Stewart.
Right here.
Indeed. Kendra Thompson. There she is. Kelsey. Excellent. Rachel.
Here.
Caitlin Williamson.
Here.
Yes. Carly Ziegler. Emma, that's the other Carly. Okay, it's you. All right, good. Who's waitlisted? Go find me a blue slip so I can sign you guys in, yes? You're all sitting down, so you're all in. So we'll just take you all. I'm guessing blue slips are from one of these offices over here. Just go grab one and we'll get you set. Take 5, wander around, let's open some windows. It's kind of warm in here.
I checked the email under county hotline where
Did anybody check their COCC email today during class? Could anybody do it real quick just to see if you got one from me? Just let's make sure the system's working.
I did submit myself test them.
Good, let's make sure that mine are coming in to everybody else, because if that's a problem, if it's not coming to anybody, then it's a system problem. If it's not coming to you, it's a your phone issue we can probably deal with.
So I was on your roll, but was I on your wait list?
I don't know, doesn't matter, let's sign you in anyway.
Sounds good.
Easy enough. 1, 7, 4, damn, signature, you can forge anything. There you go, beautiful, here we go.
And I just want to check.
You're fine. I keep putting to 105.
use that.
Oh, you're mathematically you're over prepared, which is totally fine. You'll get a kick out of this, I think.
Okay.
And you're totally in the right place, especially if you're going for that engineering stat later. This will be a perfect ground level for you. Yeah, absolutely. You're welcome. Good to have you. Is it the environmental engineering?
No, I'm transferring over to, well, hopefully, I'm applying for water resources.
Oh, awesome. Following the dam debacle.
Not
Closely.
Oh, the marathon?
Yeah.
Yeah, I work in the watershed council.
Dam debacle.
Yes.
So what's the official, what's going to happen? What's the official,
I know,
nobody knows yet?
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Of course. There we go. This is Sean, just like me. That works out well.
I did.
You can spell Irish. There we go. Hi. I did. Well, I probably did, but I haven't had a chance to read them yet. This probably won't even apply. You'll see why I'm here. But thank you for giving it to me. I appreciate it.
No, the
Hi.
doors that were
Let's
closed.
get you in here.
I'll be it.
Yes, I would have said it wrong. I would have put the accent in the middle. That'll be it. There we go. Welcome. Welcome, welcome. Hi. This is Claire. Let's get you in here. Excellent.
Thank you so much.
You got it. Good to have you here.
Sean, you said you sent it.
It's yours.
Yes. You haven't got it yet? Okay. Let me check mine. Let's see if it sent me a yes. I wonder, it could also be that they're not set up yet. I do a DLX with your TRN. There's Joe.
You didn't see the email either. Okay, good.
I didn't, and, oh look. Aha! Boom. That's why. That's why. Okay. So that explains it. It looks like the DLX isn't set up for this course yet. DLX with the CRN is how I email you guys like last term, and apparently it's just not. I have to go in there and create it.
I had a problem with mine last time, so I wanted to make sure.
Yeah, and this probably, I'll fix that. I'll leave that in my inbox so I see it and fix it. But I guarantee it's just a Microsoft issue that I have to every 3 months forget that I have to deal with. Wonderful.
So I have a question.
Yes.
So.
What did I have you for? What did I do a question for? What did I meet you for?
Last I had was like 2010.
I was here in
So,
2006.
yeah, and I had them here. I don't know.
I have like a
Your
3
name
hour.
and your face and your
Oh, really?
voice very familiar.
Yeah, it could have been.
Oh, wait, 20 there too.
Yeah, see, and I don't know.
Kidding.
I'll probably switch.
Go for it. Question.
Okay, so,
side of town.
the Excel, it was like.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you know where Chris's and Matt lived? Yeah, right.
It should not. I built it on 2007,
I was like,
which is, and it's since upgraded to 2010. I think they reverse opened it to whatever was before 2007, but I don't think many people are going to have before 2007 anymore.
So I bought my computer from here.
Of course.
Not last summer.
You're both.
On
You're
your
both.
train.
And if worse comes to worse, even if there are issues, well, that's outright you always just come in and do it. And they shouldn't take you more than 20, 30 minutes to fix it.
I just want to make sure this is.
Gold. Absolutely, no, for sure, I totally do. Of course, OSU class. Oh, of course, that
everybody was like,
absolutely, I don't. Well, I probably
I've never read a book full.
There you go.
I'm
That
trying to
would
like,
be
remember what I'm learning. No.
Let's get you in here.
Where's your office?
Grandview 226.
Okay, no, I'm gonna.
Yep, and it's right there next to the big note picture. Sure.
I was in psychology, but I was like,
Are we better? Need to get together or something.
Generally,
Maybe get
it seems
together
to work
at
out that
tutoring.
way.
Okay, I have a friend in the later class.
Oh, perfect. You guys work together. Perfect. It generally does work out that way. Like with things like Martin Luther King Day and stuff, sometimes they get shifted a little bit, but not like to the point where you're weeks and weeks apart from each other. It just seems to progress roughly the same way. So.
I know when I'm trying to get to
Yeah, for sure.
Just realize the camera's still recording nothing. Will not be